Hey, moron! Hey, moron! Duh! Look at me! I'm the one with waterboard, dude!
Philly 500 versus Mark Holmes. Two YouTubers in their footballs on. Waiting bands, sitting slow. Got it game 10's got it, it's freeze. 11 is for Pep Smack, but I'm Rabindra, stay safe.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to Ron Oliver and Cowboys music. What y'all think of this? Leave a comment in there. Do you like the Mark Holmes Philly 500 remix?
Don't get it twisted, this bar runs deep. Yeah, it's football gifted. Two kings of the two be running their show. Fiend fans like here's this boss rat quick. It's Philly 500 versus Mark Holmes. Two YouTubers in their football zones. Third cleat bowls and 5
Oh snap. Shout out to you, Ron. Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here for my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You know, we're trying to continue to grow the nation here and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to bring you more content for the Dallas Cowboys going into the season. And now hope is back. But before we do, let's get open for business here and let's wake up those football gods. My goodness, there's so many things that are going on. I had to go get my wife's car oil changed, and I was talking about the rumors of Jerry Jones stepping down. Okay, I know everybody go, ooh, okay. Jerry Jones ain't going nowhere. He's not going anywhere. So I dealt with that. I'm back home here. I got mama happy and everything else. And we're going through the dirtying of George Pickens. Eagle fans are kind of upset. And what I hear from George Pickens is everything that you want to hear. Now, I find it funny because we are going through and we are killing George Pickens, and we're talking about how bad a move this is. But I'm sitting here and I'm curious what's going on in, say, New Orleans with Derek Carr. Derek Carr, who had a shoulder issue, who seemingly is trying to work his way out of being in New Orleans and seems to be having hissy fits and seems to be the anti-New Orleans Saints, but nobody's talking about how he is kind of a cancer. And didn't he have a problem with the Raiders? You know, the Raiders were like hat in hand. It's like, look, bro, we know you don't want to be here, okay? We're going to give you the opportunity to figure out what team you want to go to, work out a deal and things that's a win-win for both of us. And he went out and he talked to New Orleans, and hey, New Orleans said, yeah, we want your stuff. And he came back and basically said, screw you, you're going to cut me, and I'm going to go to New Orleans without giving you anything. But nobody will talk about that. Now, here it is, George Pickens, that we hear that teams literally laughed about the idea of George Pickens coming to their team. We don't know if that really happened. This year, more than ever before, there is so much bullshit out there that is being put at you that you don't know what to, anonymous sources. Hell, I could say anonymous sources said this, and it doesn't make it true. And don't get me started on all the AI stuff that comes through, because you see an interview and you think that this shit is legitimate and it's AI. Case in point, this was sent to me by good old Holly Pierce. Holly, I don't know why you up in the middle of the night, girl, but this was truly great. This is Pickens on the move. Let's go to the tape.
I feel right now. I woke up today, looked in the mirror, and said, George, you ain't a Steeler no more. And I swear the sun hit different. The air got crisper. The Chick-fil-A line moved faster. Life is good, baby.
Life is good, baby.
I'm finally out of Pittsburgh. No more offenses drawn up on napkins at Applebee's. No more 3rd and 12 screen passes to Najee while I'm out here, wide open like a Waffle House at 3A. I was running routes so clean. Defenders were asking for my footwork tutorial mid-game, and guess what? The ball never came. I was out there doing cardio for free. Let's be honest, I was too explosive for that offense. They had me out there like a Ferrari with a lawnmower engine. Kenny Pickett was throwing hospital balls like you got stock in urgent care. Half my targets had me doing yoga midair just to survive. And don't even get me started on the scheme. I've seen middle school flag football teams with better spacing. Oh, me. Now I'm in Dallas. Oh, it's up. CD Lamb on one side, me on the other. And if you try to double team both of us, Doc might accidentally throw for 6,000 yards. You don't understand. I went from flipping landlines to fiber optics, from dial-up to 5G, from Arby's drive-thru to Ruth's Chris reservations. Class L, and to the Steelers fans mad about it, look, I get it. I was your highlight reel, your hope, your Madden franchise savior. But the truth is, I was playing in a football escape room, and I finally found the exit with Jerry Jones waiting outside, holding a check and a Whataburger bag. So yeah, I'm good. In fact, I'm about to go celebrate by running a go route down the middle of Jerry World with sunglasses on at midnight, because that's how free I am now. Pittsburgh, thanks for the cardio and the unthrown targets from Russell Wilson. Dallas, let's cook. AI disclaimer, this is satire. A joke.
There
George
you
Pickens
go.
didn't actually say this, but admit it, you wouldn't be shocked if he did.
I love that. I love the fact that they put the disclaimer on it, because a lot of times you don't even get that, and people will actually take that and think that it is real. But see, here's the thing. If you're a Cowboy fan and they just like to destroy our dreams. They just like to destroy our dreams. And here's the reality, as much as everybody talks about, Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills, and they talk about the Lions and how great everything is. Here's the reality is they ain't winning Super Bowls either. It's been pretty much Kansas City, and before that, Tom Brady for the most part, with Tampa and New England, sprinkled in with the Rams, sprinkled in with the Eagles. But there's a lot of teams out there that aren't winning Super Bowls and have the same issues. But they just like to crush our dreams. We can't have anything nice, without people trying to tell you it's the stupidest thing ever. That's just the way it is when you are with the Dallas Cowboys. So understand that first and foremost. So we've got the perception that he comes to work angry every day. He's fighting in the locker room. He's fighting the other team. He's checking out on plays. But here's what I look at when I think about this. Now, first of all, everything thus far has been what you would hope from not just a problem child, but from anybody that you bring into your organization. Pickens says he never requested a trade from Pittsburgh, backing the recent reports that Steelers Mike Tomlin may have initiated the move. In his first press conference with the Cowboys, Pickens said he is ecstatic for a fresh start and already feels at home in Dallas, especially with longtime friend CD Lamb by his side. Now, let me take this, because everybody's like, CD Lamb and him, they ain't going to get along, bro. They ain't going to get along. There ain't going to be enough, balls to go around. And CD going to be catching over him. He going to pout. Wait a minute. We've already established that we are longtime friends, especially with longtime friend CD Lamb by his side. You can't double everybody. It'll be good for me and him. We're not looking at a guy who comes in saying, me. He's talking about the two of us together. Bro. And then he talked about, I'll do whatever they need me to do. He also revealed that Dak Prescott was the first one to reach out and made it clear he's embracing a team-first mindset. My role is whatever the team needs it to be. I'm focused on working hard every day. And so far in his career, he has 174 receptions, 2,841 receiving yards, and 12 TDs in 3 years. Now, here's the thing that was interesting, too, last night that kind of transpired, and I did not pull them up, but let me get it real quick, because Michael Gallup is now a Washington Commander. And what people are saying about Michael Gallup and George Pickens, that they've started out their careers very similar. And that's like saying that Andy Dalton and Dak Prescott started out their careers very similar, which they did. But you look at it after the first 4 years and see that there is a major difference, because we were sold that, there's no difference between Andy Dalton and Dak Prescott. They're the same guy. Isn't that what Colin Cowherd told you? And then we saw Andy Dalton as opposed to Dak Prescott, and it wasn't good. So let me pull up this real quick here, because Michael Gallup, his first 3 years were good. His rookie year, 507 yards. Not bad. He came on as the season progressed. Definitely got better after we ended up getting Amari Cooper. His second year gave you all the hope. His second year was literally the year that got him paid, because he had 1,107 yards and looked like he was going to be a deep threat. But after that year, he started going downhill. The next year was still really good, 843 yards. But his fourth year, his fifth year, his sixth year were abysmal. He literally fell off a cliff. Injuries happened and so on. I know Washington's excited about having him signed. I know Dan Quinn likes him and things like that. But he lost, his confidence in his knee after the injury. And so Washington's getting a guy who has been off for a year that's going in, and this isn't about Washington. But people are saying, George Pickens and him. Okay, if you want to try and make that comparison, I'm going to say Pickens didn't have a Dak Prescott throwing to him like Michael Gallup did. When I look at, let's take because situations matter. Situations matter. Having a quarterback, because Dak Prescott, contrary to what people will say, is one of the better deep throwers, and I believe he's rated third right now in the NFL in the deep ball. So Michael Gallup being on the Cowboys offense, which is definitely a lot better than what the Steelers have been the last few years, you had for quarterbacks, his rookie year, Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky throwing to him. They had 12 TD passes and 14 interceptions. The next year, Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. Well, it was better. They had more TD passes and interceptions, but they had 13 TD passes and 9 interceptions. And then you had last year, which was the best year, I guess, quarterback play-wise. He had Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and they had 21 TDs and 6 interceptions. So when you look at this, he's realizing, man, bro, I am a stud. Yeah, when you play football, you have to be arrogant. You have to have confidence in yourself. If you don't, you're going to get your head taken off. He's sitting here looking at this situation, going through his third year where you've got 2 quarterbacks that are playing each year, and none of them really earth-shattering. And you start looking at this and say, man, this is just wasting my career. I can see where he wanted to check out because of the situation where there's no hope. That's where you have Carr in New Orleans is looking at it like, I've been here a couple years. We've been ass. Now we got a new offensive coordinator. We're at the bottom of the barrel. We're starting over. Man, I'm checking out. I don't want any more of this. And that's where I believe he's there. Now, Dak, first one to reach out. And it seems like the two of them are definitely on the same page. Now, this is, of course, nothing is guaranteed as far as football goes, how one person is going to play or not. But you look at him coming here healthy, for one. You look at him coming here hungry and not demanding a contract and wanting to prove himself, a guy talking about being a teammate and working hard. I don't know what more you want out of this deal. I keep hearing, every little bit and pieces. They go through and say, well, here's all the Cowboys number 3 draft picks, and stuff, and this is a lot of compensation. Well, I tell you what, we used a 3 to get Michael Gallup. We used a 3 to get Jalen Tolbert. If he plays better than those guys, then you're ahead of the curve with that 3rd round pick. And if it doesn't work out this year, he goes and more than likely you're going to get a pretty good comp pick. So I'm not feeling bad about that one. Now, here's an interesting one. I don't know. I might get copywritten on here, and I may have to cut it out. But listening to Ryan Clark, who, of course, was a Steeler, who's going through on the pivot, and I'm just going to play the audio and talking about the situation because there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on and flying and things and speculation. And, you know, it's sad for the Steelers situation, but I think the Steelers, I honestly believe the Steelers are at a point where they realize we've been trying since Big Ben to get ourselves a quarterback, and it just has not worked. We're going to need to go ahead and take some of the assets we have, try and get ourselves some draft picks. We got the draft in at home, and we need to do something different to get out of this cycle. We've lost 6 straight playoff games. We've been good enough to make the playoffs, but not good enough to make it any further, and we can't continue to do the same thing. And this is where I say it wouldn't surprise me if T.J. Watt gets traded, because you look at this and say T.J. is beginning to get some injuries. T.J. is looking for a big fat contract, and T.J., we can get a lot of draft capital and maybe get ourselves a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is not the answer. Aaron Rodgers is not the answer. But listen to Ryan Clark here.
Disappointed in myself today. This morning, you know, I wasn't supposed to work on Get Up, but I found out that George Pickens was going to be traded to the Dallas Cowboys. And immediately, my groupthink and my thought was, damn, somebody so talented, they must be tired of dealing with a personality. And I fell into the same thing that all the people who actually don't know this kid falls into. And I also felt like I slighted George and I slighted Mike T. Mike T, who doesn't run away from coaching. Mike T, who doesn't run away from grooming. Mike T, who doesn't run away from bringing players along. It almost was like I said he gave up on a player. And George Pickens, who I've talked to, I've had conversations, I've been around, someone who does have a good spirit, someone who does have good energy, somebody who honestly is a good dude. Now, there are things that when you watch the film or when you watch the games, you have to be able to assess and say that can't happen. You have to be able to assess and say you can't do those things and be a leader. You can't do those things and continue to help a team to build. But for me to jump to the conclusion right away, that was the reason he's no longer there, that's unfair to the organization I love and to a player I admire. I mean, what if it's because DK's there now and you paid him $100+ million and now you also can't pay George? Or who's going to actually get the ball to both of these men? And who's the quarterback going to be? And so when I got a chance to sit down and sort of recalibrate what I thought, this is a football move. This is a business decision. This isn't about George Pickens being too difficult to coach or Coach Tomlin running from coaching.
There you go. That is a perfect assessment right there. Because, see, everybody's going to the conclusions of, oh, well, they got rid of him because he's a cancer and everything else. No, they're under the realization that maybe we got to get bad to get good. In the same sense, it may have been the Cowboys realized we can't just keep going through the way we were going through last year and without telling us and said, we got to hit the reset button. We're going to have to take our lumps right now in order for us to try and move forward. And that's exactly what it seems like. Maybe that happened by accident or organically, but that's exactly what it feels like has happened or what has happened because they ended up taking the lumps last year and not spending that money. They have the money now to be able to try and do something. But make no mistake about it. I think you got 3 years with Dak that you've got to try and get this thing together. And you're going to need to go ahead and make some plays. And this is not where you stop. This needs to just be the beginning. And so here, we'll go back to the boys at Pro Football Talk, because they are talking about Pickens being grateful to play with Dak Prescott. To all the haters out there, that's not what you want to hear.
a member of the Cowboys. Passed his physical, trade is done, so he meets with the media. And let's hear directly from the man himself, George Pickens, on now being a member of the Cowboys and having a quarterback, a franchise quarterback for the first time in his career in Dak Prescott.
I feel great. I like the mojo here. I like the swag. Everybody, it's a lot of new players that I've been meeting all around the long way. So I feel like they got a great thing going for sure. I'm grateful, like I said, I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to play with Dak. As far as like roles and stuff like that, I'm just here to work. Whatever role finds me best is where I'm gonna find myself. Yeah, that was one of the first guys that I definitely contacted with was Dak. He just watching his game over the years, he's a very prolific QB and smart QB at that. So I'm just glad to be working with him. CD is a super dynamic receiver, super dynamic player. I just feel like schematically you can't, you won't be able to double everybody. So that'd be a great thing for me and him.
And that's the ultimate football point in all of this. If you're going to devote extra resources to handling CeeDee Lamb, that's good for George Pickens. If George Pickens starts catching 50-yard bombs from Dak Prescott and they start tilting the coverage his way, Lamb is going to benefit from it. And the challenge for Dak Prescott in any given moment is going to be to figure out which guy has the favorable matchup and taking advantage of it. And that's what he needs to get both players to understand. It's less for CeeDee Lamb because he's gotten paid. George Pickens is the one who's trying to get paid. That's the one thing that complicates all of this. Hovering over everything. Pickens doesn't have a contract beyond this year. He wants to earn one, a significant one. He has the talent to justify it. Now he has to have the production to justify it if he's ever going to get it from the Cowboys, which will be difficult to do if he plays at a $30 million a year level. Could they ever do that when they have a guy at 34? Whether it's them or someone else, that's the challenge for him in 2025.
Yeah, it is. And, George Pickens is just such an enigma to me that, I don't know if this, kind of good feeling, rah-rah stuff is going to last for him with the Cowboys. I don't think anybody really knows that. And so because of that, it's kind of like, well, how can Dak Prescott kind of massage everybody's ego as the quarterback in the huddle to say, hey, this is what we have to do. This is what we know is going to work, or what we believe is going to work going into any given matchup. I mean, a lot of that is going to be Brian Schottenheimer as well, right? I mean, as the head coach and the offensive play call, that's something that they're going to have to work through. And they've got to make guys understand on a week-to-week basis, hey, this is what the game plan is, and this is why, because we feel like this matchup is favorable for this reason against these coverages that this team likes to play, against this cornerback that you're likely going to be matched up against. And so, that, I don't know how well Brian Schottenheimer is going to do that. I no offense to Brian Schottenheimer, but it's been a while since we've seen him call plays, especially call plays at a high level in the National Football League. And so I don't really know how that's going to work out. But
the trashing of the Cowboys.
I see it and I understand it. And honestly, I like it, especially with Dak Prescott coming off the kind of injury that he's coming off of, right? You want to get him as many high quality targets as you possibly can. You want to give him a strong running game as you possibly can. So all these things seem to be working in concert for the Cowboys right now. And that's a positive thing.
You make a great point about all of the positivity flowing from George Pickens yesterday. No relationship will ever be better than it is on the way in. It could be the same, but it's never going to be better. This is the high water mark of the good feelings because we have yet to see the intervention of reality. And what happens when you think you're open every play and you get 3 targets over the course of a 60-minute football game, which is what happened often in Pittsburgh.
Because they're not a passing offense.
Things could be different. And the key, and Jason Garrett explained this the other day when we dragged him onto the show as we ripped up the rundown, thanks to the Cowboys turning the news coverage upside down with the news of the Pickens trade.
Oh, you love it.
For Dak to strike the right tone, maintain the right relationship, and get George Pickens to buy in and do everything he needs to do, even if he's not getting the ball as often as he'd like. And the challenge for Pickens is to adapt to this new reality where he's not the number one receiver. He had been in Pittsburgh. He's now clearly the second option. What can he do to make the most out of that and position himself for a positive future in the NFL with the Cowboys or with someone else? And it's clear right now that there's nobody else out there that wanted George Pickens, or there would have been competition for his services with the Cowboys, and a trade would have happened before the draft.
Yeah, that's also true. And, when you look at George Pickens and what he's done in the National Football League so far in his career, I mean, there are plays where he shows you how outstanding he can be as a receiver. He's one of those guys offense. That, Jamar Chase likes to say, I'm like 7-Eleven, always bleeping open. Like, if you throw it to George Pickens and you give him a chance, there's a large opportunity for him to come down with the football. I mean, look at some of the plays that are on the highlight reel for him. So that's where, as long as he is going to be a positive force, in the locker room and on the team, then that's going to be great. But you just don't know with George Pickens because, I mean, there could be a Hail Mary play at the end of a game, and he might be tussling with two defenders in the end zone instead of actually being a part of things. And you're like,
okay, enough of these jackasses. This dude, I don't know who the hell that guy is. Miles Simmons. I'm sorry, you're a freaking idiot. You're a freaking idiot. Here's the thing. You got a guy who needed a change of scenery. And all we have done is trash the guy. We've seen other players that are great that have had problems. Now, I'm going to say my quarterback, Dak Prescott, Dez Bryant wasn't exactly the easiest kind of guy to get along with either. But Dez Bryant, amazingly, had more yards per completion with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott. He elevated that game. You didn't see Dez Bryant throwing Dak Prescott on the bus. You can see that Amari Cooper was basically in the same scenario with George Pickens where people said he checks out. Now, maybe he wasn't going after others. He wasn't. But he wasn't getting along with the Raiders where, just win, baby, and go deep. That wasn't working out very well. But you look at the best time of Amari Cooper's career, it was with Dak Prescott and was able to get along with him. You can look at somebody whose career looked like it was over, and Randall Cobb, who, after 2014's numbers just cratered, just going downhill to the point where even though he was one of Aaron Rodgers' buddies, they decided he's roadkill. Let's get rid of him. And Dak Prescott, with that guy, doubles his production, gets him paid to go to the Texans, and immediately his numbers go back off a cliff. I'm not worried about the dynamic of him being in this offense with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, I think he's going to welcome having somebody else to take the attention away, because Dak Prescott, when you look at Dak Prescott and he's hitting 6 or more people in a game, they win football. And with CD and Pickens, you can't double cover both of them. And I think that this is going to be a huge, huge move for the Cowboys. What they've got to do, of course, is keep Dak Prescott upright and keep him healthy. And if they are able to run the ball better than what they did last year, man, you guys got to start worrying about the Cowboys. Still have concerns about my secondary and stopping the run, but I don't think they're done yet. I think that they are going to continue to keep their foot on the gas and coming for you. I'm Mark Holmes, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I will see you, of course, many, many times. Don't forget 9 o'clock Eastern for our live stream. Peace out.